And welcome fans and IBL across the world. Welcome to beautiful Labatt Memorial Park. My name is Matt Hiscox with Justin Koheler here up in the beautiful Labatt Memorial press box here for the action between the Kitchener Panthers and the London Majors on this, well, Justin, I don't want to say rain, but we're getting there a little bit. It's a little light outside, we'll call it.
It's really one of those borderline days for sure. We were treated on Friday to what we thought was going to be a pretty nasty game, and it ended up being bright and sunny. Today's looking like it might take a turn for the worse, but we're still holding out for right now. Still looking as nice as it can be with this many clouds in the sky, but we'll see how the game turns out.
40%, I think, is what I read when I woke up this morning, and 40 is better than 50. So, we're going to go with that today. The Majors in their second game of exhibition action before regular season kicks off in Brantford on May 11th. Right now, the Majors took on the Hamilton Cardinals on Friday. And Justin, as you said, we were treated to probably one of the best games we've seen in exhibition action, at least in my time here with the Majors, to a 13-2 win for the Majors over the Hamilton Cardinals. Lots of action in that game. Newcomers Francisco Fajardo with a home run. All-star Eduardo Diolio with a home run. I think the Majors looked very good out on that action there.
They did. There was a lot of good and bad, so to speak. There were quite a few errors on both sides of the game for both teams, especially when you look independently at the fifth inning, which was for sure, without a doubt, the longest inning of the game across the board. Plenty of runs scored, but ultimately the Majors just looked a lot cleaner throughout the entire course of the game, and that led to that 13-2 win. Both defensively, offensively, they just had everything cooking.
Yeah, and as you said, as we mentioned, it's a first game. There's going to be errors. It's a first time for some of these guys in front of, we had 5,000 screaming elementary students, and I don't know about you, but I had a little bit of Tylenol when I got home that night because of the screaming children at that game. But you know what? It was a good game overall. The teams enjoyed it. I had players from Hamilton reaching out to us and saying, hey, what a great job you guys did. Amazing job. The fans enjoyed it, and hopefully we see some of those kids come back, throughout the regular season.
Well, I don't think I've seen an opening exhibition game with that exciting of a crowd. It is a different atmosphere having that many kids, families, schools all in attendance. So yeah, like you said, hopefully they come back around because we'd love that energy moving forward.
Exactly. Now we want to make sure that all of our viewers today know that we are working as much as we can with all the little adjustments that we've made throughout the season. You do see some camera flickering. We do apologize. We are working on it. And all of our crews volunteer. So we want to make sure that everyone knows that, we are a volunteer crew up here, and we've got, the weather puts a little damper on us a little once in a while that we can only do so much. We're not major league out here as we see the Bohemian? I don't know. That's a new one for me.
On the right path.
On the right path. Toby Simmons takes center field there. I talked to him on Friday with the nice warm weather, and I don't know how he's feeling today with the little bit of colder weather today. I saw he's got a turtleneck on, that's for sure, though.
Definitely takes a little bit of getting used to, for sure. And it's just one of the fresh new faces on the team this year. We'll get into that as the broadcast goes on. But a good mix of veterans, a good mix of new guys on the team. So it should be really, really exciting. And Fajardo, definitely going to be one of the faces, one of the frontline guys heading into this season.
He definitely is. When you come from the minor leagues of the major leagues, you come with a little bit of swagger. You come a little bit with, the skill that is going to put you over the top when it comes to these kind of plays. You look out here and you see, you don't see a lot of starters today. You see a lot of the bench guys, the warm-up guys, the guys that need to get the reps that, to stay ready for the season. You've got Brad Verhoeven at first base today. He played really well on Friday. You've got Adrian Harrison. He's here on a tryout right now with the team. He played well on Friday, really looked good. So we'll see, what manager Root Chanderdat wants to do with him, if he's going to stick around with the team or, we'll sign him for a junior card or we'll go from there.
And with that, like you mentioned, there's going to be a lot of changes in this style of a game versus the regular season. With this being an exhibition game, you're going to notice a lot of changes, both for pitching, defense, offensively. You might notice the lineup changing a little bit. We're going to try our best to keep up as best we can, and we're going to go from there.
We'll go from there. And with that, we're going to head to commercial as we take the anthem. You're watching London Majors Baseball on YouTube and Majors TV, presented by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogg Lane.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at LabattParkTours.com.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Torrey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
And what a beautiful rendition of the national anthem here before today's game, as the Majors donned in last year's Canada Day uniforms. You don't want to give away too much this year. The Majors stick with your typical white pinstripes and blues, but as someone who has a little bit of inside knowledge, there's a lot of good stuff coming this year.
Those are the inside tips we all want to know, Matt.
Yeah. Well, like I said, as someone with those inside knowledge, there's a lot of fun stuff coming this year for the Majors. We all saw the Cobra Chickens on the line there and how well it went, and I will say that those jerseys will be here this year at least twice.
Very excited for that. As soon as that what began as an April Fool's joke kicked out, that was immediately, I knew I had to get my hands on one of those jerseys very, very badly.
They're definitely something that look really good here. As we take a look at the infield that is going to be behind third-year Major Jose Arias, you'll have Brad Verhoeven at first. You have Jagan Chanderdat at second base, Francisco Fajardo at short, and Ty Mosher at third, and the all-star Eduardo Diolio in behind home plate.
It was very exciting to see him in Friday's game even as well. Had that nice home run that he hit. Stole a base as well, which I would argue is more of a captivating thing to see from Diolio. But then we have a nice well-rounded outfield as well. Charlie Bowman in left. We got Toby Simmons right up Main Street in center, and we got Adrian Harrison over in right. So a nice little mix of some veterans and some new players, and a few fresh faces to make it a pretty exciting game 2 of exhibition play here for the Majors.
And we will let everyone know that as much as possible we are going to keep up with the Kitchener Panthers lineup. They are batting 12 today, so that we are going to do as much as we can with them. To start off the game, though, Wander Santana is coming to the plate, another newcomer to the league this year. He is the DH today, followed by Charlie Towers and Nick Parsons. Those are the three we can guarantee that are coming to the plate this inning.
The Majors would like to keep it at that number, but we'll see how the inning goes. Arias, one of the key pitchers for this Majors rotation, would like to limit as many base runners as he can.
And Arias starts it off with a ball high and outside to Santana. Little loose with the grip today with the little wet ball that we have to worry about.
Indeed. Yeah, we'll try and keep it as dry as we can today, but weather permitting, it could get a little bit worse. Game time 1:12 when the first pitch was thrown here today.
Arias with a 1-1 count. High and outside for ball 2, and we even Eduardo Diolio having a little trouble with that baseball today as he gets it.
It'll take a bit. It's a cold day, too, on top of being cloudy and potentially a little bit rainy. It's sitting at about 12 degrees right now here at Labatt Memorial Park in beautiful London, Ontario. So it'll take a little bit to heat up and get into the game-ready form here.
That's the news reporter in you, isn't it?
It always comes out every so often.
Arias with strike 2 there right across as Santana swings across the top of that one. 2-2 here is the count to the DH for the Panthers. And he's caught looking. Definitely saw that one. He saw it come in and looked it into Diolio's glove. That is the first out here on a strikeout as Charlie Towers, the shortstop, former Toronto Maple Leaf, not the hockey player, don't worry, Toronto Maple Leaf baseball player, came over in a trade in the offseason, and he is the starting shortstop in today's game.
It's always a distinction we have to make in here with the Toronto Maple Leafs being in this league for sure.
And he takes ball 1 is that one.
Next
Foul ball into the, I will say, we can all be a little more comfortable. New netting behind home plate.
Indeed, it's a great thing to have, especially just how fast these balls can get hit. I'll give a shout out to Northridge Public School. One of their students, as that ball just goes up and outside there, was hit pretty hard with a foul ball down the line over at the third base side, and an absolute trooper. Handled it like a champ, got a nice signed ball from a bunch of the teams, so shout out to him.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe I saw Byron Reichstein sign that ball and say, heads up there down the line. But, those foul balls come in hot, and, we make sure that everyone's taking a look at that as the count comes 2-2 to Charlie Towers. And Arias comes back across with it, with the strikeout for his second strikeout looking of the game in the second batter.
It's the best way to get the game going. Like we said, it might take a couple pitches to get warmed up, but clearly he's in form. 2 strikeouts to get the game going, and we're already down to 2 outs here in the first inning.
And that brings the first baseman, Nick Parsons, to the plate. Almost a veteran of this league now is Parsons, as he takes strike 1 there. Looked like a little changeup that came across there. Not Arias' fastest pitch, but definitely a more flatter pitch there.
He's been really good at mixing up the timing so far on these pitches, getting these batters behind. They've been a bit late on a lot of the pitches so far. So it just really speaks to Arias' repertoire and his skills, especially even just in his first game this season.
And all these players will have practice action and all that kind of stuff, but nothing is like it when you get out there for game action. And, there's a little more, there's a couple fans here. There's probably about 100 fans here on a cold, wet day. So those fans, they're all huddled underneath the grandstands like you and I, but we get the joys of the press box.
We'll always take it where we can. Arias 1 strike away from sitting down the first 3 by strikeout here.
Back to the netting is that one as Parsons fights it off, and Arias gets a new dry baseball from Diolio. 1-2 actually is the count. Our apologies. As we come set here, Arias to the plate. And that one skipped just short in front of Diolio. A good block. Diolio probably one of the best, if not the best, defensive catcher in the league when it comes to throwing runners out, back picks at first base, the blocks that he makes. He is probably one of, if not the best, defensive catchers in the league.
Yeah, if this is your first time checking out the London Majors or the IBL, get ready for a whole lot of fun when it comes to Eduardo Diolio.
And Arias with the fastball, strikeout swinging does Parsons, and that ends the inning here for the Panthers as it brings the Majors to the plate here. And what a first inning for Jose Arias.
Amazing. It's always great in any case when you can get a strikeout, let alone 2 or even 3, being able to strike out the side in your first appearance of London Majors action. But yeah, what a great, impeccable start for Jose Arias here today.
Arias came to the team in the second year of I believe it was 2021 was his first year that he was here, and he came in and was a dominant pitcher for the Majors in behind Owen Boone. How could you not love that? Arias and Boone in behind one another. His first year, 2022, the second of the championship seasons for the Majors, he pitched 132 strikeouts in one season.
It's impressive, and that's exactly why they wanted him back so bad on this team last year, and particularly here for 2025 as well.
And when you can have Arias, Keys, and Victor Paino as your 1, 2, 3, I don't think there's a grouping of 3 guys that I'd want going out in order for the team. As we look out for the lineup that the Majors will be putting out today, kind of like what we saw on Friday, Toby Simmons in center field, at Francisco Fajardo at short, Eduardo Diolio in doing the catching. Brad Verhoeven had an incredible game on Friday, is at first base. Ty Mosher at third. Ricardo De Lugo. We will say that, you don't see it often, but you see a pitcher batting, and that's what we see today. Adrian Harrison, Charlie Bowman, and Jagan Chanderdat finish out the lineup there today. And we will see what Toby Simmons can do first thing off the bat. He's got the speed. He's got the speed. He's got the bat that can, hit first, second. He's not a power bat often, but he is definitely going to make an impact on this roster.
It's going to be one of those players that have a little bit of speed and a lot of utility, and that's what makes him very valuable on this team right now.
I don't know if you saw it, though, but on Friday he had a pop-up to right field with the batter that was in behind him, and it was both the bullpen area, and he still went first to second and was safe by a mile. As he looks at a 2-0 count here. .3-0 as our friends the Ballflowers get into it. Owen McNeil on the bump for the Kitchener Panthers here today, as the ball 4 chants start early here in exhibition game 2.
Always one of my favorite chants to hear. Every single game, they're always so active and right out there and quick to get on those ball 4 chants, almost before even I can think about it sometimes.
And you know what? Sometimes it's faster than even the scoreboard operator can get it. McNeil, a newcomer to the Panthers organization here. He pitched for the Hamilton Cardinals in their staff the year before in 2021-2022, but joins the Panthers this year after pitching at the University of Charleston in West Virginia in D2.
And not a lot of games combined between 2021 and 2022. Only played in 10 games and only started for 5 in total. Pitched just over 30 innings between them. His strikeout numbers are pretty good, though, in comparison to his walks. 17-12 back in 2022 and 21-14 back in 2021.
And that one's popped up foul as Simmons was off on the pitch, and he was actually at second base before that one even made contact with the ground, as Junior Ibarra tried to get over for the pop out there, as Francisco Fajardo almost came into his own dugout there with the pop up there, but it brings the count to 1-1 with Toby Simmons at first base still.
Simmons is quick. Again, that really just goes to show his speed and his confidence of being able to get to second, but then also backtrack all the way back to first if need be, if that pop-out was called.
Inside for ball 2 there. And I don't know about you on the angle that you have, but I have a great angle at his leadoff here, and that has to be one of the largest secondaries I have ever seen from a first base or at first base.
And again, just shows his confidence as he dives back in over to first to avoid that pickoff attempt there.
But was back before I even think he even thought he would be. Simmons, when talking with manager Roop Chanardap, told me that he is going to be beneficial as he takes off there into second base as the throw from Junior Ibarra to Charlie Towers is high and outside, and Simmons is in with a stolen base in his first chance.
And I think if he had the chance to see where that ball was exactly located a little bit sooner, he probably would have even made the jump over to third, and he definitely thought about it on that one. And again, the count 3-1 right now.
And a hard chopper to the shortstop, Charlie Towers, and Francisco Fajardo just a step behind on that one as Simmons moves over to third base, and there was no chance they were getting Simmons at third base there as Fajardo comes around wearing the long sleeves there. You can see the Under Armour's keeping him nice and warm today. You almost feel bad for the guys from the Dominican and Panama and everything like that are outside today, and I believe you said under 12 degrees.
That's about 12 degrees right now. Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
I'm sure they're not enjoying this as All-Star Eduardo Diolio comes to the plate. A big home run in Friday's action to get things started. As he lines that one to the second baseman on one hop, but Simmons will come in for the first run of the game, and Diolio will ground out for out number 2.
So productive out, and that's, again, goes to show just how confident this team is in their contact skills as well. They sit with 2 outs, but they do have a run advancing Simmons all the way from second to home on those 2 outs. So the Majors get on the board early here in the top of the first.
And that's what you want to see. You want to see the team making quality outs, not just pop outs to the infield where you're not able to extend those batters or extend those runners, my apologies, so that you can keep the game moving, and you get an easy run here.
This team can definitely flex a lot of their power when they want to, but sometimes it is small ball that wins a lot of these games here in the Intercounty Baseball League.
Manufacturing runs is the way to win games, as Brad Verhoeven will chop that one around foul ball. That'll bring him to 0-2.
And this is Verhoeven's 3rd year with the team, 3rd year in the IBL as well. Relatively local from over at St. Thomas. So far in his career, he's got about a .257 batting average. Just 1 homer, but 16 RBIs collectively from 2023 through to 2024.
And probably one of the hardest hit balls I saw that he's ever had on Friday. Took almost the first baseman's glove right off the hand as he grounds that one foul to Skylar Janice, coaching over at first base.
You can definitely tell he was heading to the gym through this offseason. All these guys doing various bits of work from one to another, and power's a big thing.
I will confirm, I did see him at the gym going in. Now, I was coming out of Dairy Queen, but I will say he was heading into the gym when I was walking out of Dairy Queen. So, 2 different ball players there.
Two different ball players.
One that stands behind a camera and one that swings the bat right up the middle. And Brad Verhoeven continues, you know what? I'm going to call it a hot streak. It's only 2 games, but he has been playing very well, making very good contact with the ball, and he is on first base for his first hit of the game.
That's what you get for trading in that ice cream for the gym, is base hits, and that's what we like to see here with the London Majors.
It extends the inning, brings up Ty Mosher, who wasn't sure if you were here at the time, had a huge home run in batting practice here that the wind just kept carrying.
It's one of those that even felt a little bit how Eddie's was yesterday, Eduardo Diolio's homer. It was kind of lost up in the sky and just kept going, and in some cases the wind can be a little bit helpful here at the ballpark.
And that's Labatt Park. You get it off the river here, it can come in any direction, and it's going to carry just enough for this ballpark. As Brad Verhoeven takes his lead off first base, Ty Mosher playing third again today. Now, fans, we want to make sure that, everybody here on the lineup, you see Ty Mosher playing third, Brad Verhoeven playing first, Charlie Bowman playing third or playing left field. These guys are not you're going to be your starters. The Majors have a lot of players that are still finishing school. Trent Lehman, I should say, out at UBC. He's a really big power first, third baseman. You'll see him in the lineup. You've got Josh Niles, a returning IBL veteran, we'll call him. He's now a local player here. He's from living in Port Stanley, not too far. So he'll be on the major squad this year, can play the infield, play a little bit of the outfield if need be, kind of like Brad. So we'll see where he fits in. And Dre Armorall, a University of Alabama A&M player, can play the infield as Mosher gets caught looking at strike 3. And with that, the Majors are up 1-0 after the first inning. Probably one of the best makeshift innings and manufacturing ball innings that the Majors have seen already. And with that, we will take it to break. You're watching the Kitchener Panthers versus the London Majors on Majors TV, brought to you by 100 Kellogs Lane and the Clubhouse.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's The Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
And welcome back to London Majors Baseball as Arias throws his final warm-up pitch there on the mound for the London Majors, as Yosvani Penalver will come to the plate here for the Kitchener Panthers. The lifetime Cuban, played in the Cuban National Series for 9 seasons, where he had a .363 average, walking 57 times and only striking out 28 times in 60 games. The Cuban can play all outfield and they say a little bit of first base. So we'll see what he brings to the Panthers this season as he looks at ball 1 to start the inning.
A player with good plate discipline is always impressive to watch. It's very easy to want to swing at a lot of these pitches, and a lot of these players, very new to the team, very new to the league, are wanting to make their mark, and to still maintain that discipline, not to swing at those borderline or outside pitches, is incredibly impressive to watch.
And that the Panthers have always brought in really good Cubans across their time in the IBL. You know, they were a lot of members of the league. You know, the media side were wondering what was going to happen this year with the new sale of the team, if they were going to stick with the Cubans. But Penalver looks like he is probably going to be a really good Cuban this year for the Panthers as he walks on 4 pitches here from Jose Arias.
And again, like we were mentioning, that plate discipline, he has a lot of walks in his career, and he just put that on full display here today, and gets rewarded with first base because of it.
As Jamie Cabral will come to the plate here for the Kitchener Panthers.
Cabral mainly a DH. It was his first year with the Toronto Maple Leafs last year, now moving over to the Kitchener Panthers. As that one flies out over to center, Simmons making the catch out there.
And when you've got Adrian Harrison out there in right field, normally that's a Byron Reichstein kind of play, but the communication this year is going to be key when you've got a lot of players that can play across the league or across the diamond. So Toby Simmons basically going to be, you know, your everyday center fielder, and and Francisco Fajardo being your everyday shortstop. But you know, a lot of this, we'll see a lot of versatility with this team here. As a check swing from believe this is
That'll be Caleb Kane Plotz right now up. New to the league, it appears to be his first year in the IBL, so looking to make his mark here, kicking things off with the Kitchener Panthers. And yes, like you mentioned, the Kitchener Panthers, one of two teams that were sold during the year this year, them and the Brantford Red Sox, as this one just skips through during that stolen base attempt.
Eduardo Diolio with the attempt there, had him out, but just skipped it just a little short there, as they are trying to just make sure they have the correct count of 2-0 on the count there for Plant. As Penalver moves into second base with the stolen base. And it seems Arias has lost a little bit here. He's still trying to fight a little bit, trying to get back into the zone here as he moves the count to 3-0 on Plant.
Again, like we mentioned a bit earlier, it's cold. It's a little chilly, and it's definitely going to be hard to get that good grip on the ball. It's going to take a little bit of time to end up getting it heated up in your hands, too. Just getting used to some of your regular throws, and that's probably going to have an effect today on both pitchers, on both teams here.
And like you said, it's going to have an effect on both guys. So with this, it'll happen for everybody, and it'll happen to start the season. You know, every team will be dealing with it to start the season, especially the Dominicans, the Panamanians, anybody that's coming from outside of Canada that's not used to this cold weather.
And Arias now bumping it to a full count here, working his way back.
And he ends up fighting all the way back, getting the swinging strike, getting the second out of the inning here, as we see Victor Paeno warming up down in the Majors bullpen here. Roop Channerdat told me expect pitchers to pitch a lot today. 2 innings, 2 innings, 2 innings. You know, we are playing a full 9 today, so you'll expect to see a good amount of guys getting work today that didn't get any work on Friday will pitch today. You might see a couple extra guys get some work that did work on Friday. As that one's bounced in, and an incredible block by Diolio keeps Penalver at second base there. That ball gets a little bit away. I think you see him take off to third base, but keeps him locked in at second base. And Trent Lawson, the batter here, playing left field with a 1-0 count.
It's going to be exciting seeing the two flashy guys from last season when it comes to pitching in Arias and Payano. Definitely made their mark on the team and have over the past few years with the London Majors. So definitely exciting to see them even on this cloudy, kind of miserable, dreary day here in London.
It brings the sun to the ballpark, right? That's what we're looking for.
Exactly. That's what we're hoping for.
As Lawson swings through that high and outside fastball, bringing the count to 1-2. Arias looking to escape the inning with the one hit there in the inning.
And Lawson, this is his first year with the Panthers and first year in the IBL as well, as he strikes out, sitting down the side here.
And Arias with the tip of the cap there looks to end his his day there. We'll look for the handshake from Jose Arias, but he finishes the day with 5 of 6 strikeouts there. Incredible action for him, and there's the handshake from manager Roop Channerdat and pitching coach Brent Wales. So, you know, that's the end of the day for Arias. And I think if you're the Majors, you're thinking, man, if this guy can do this for the next, 4 months?
Indeed.
I think we will be very happy with a single to the Cuban Yosvani Penalver, a flyout to Jamie Cabral, but everything else, he did it himself with the strikeout.
Says a pretty good strikeout to walk ratio to kick things off here. 5 Ks to 1 walk. I'll always take those numbers.
Yep, exactly. And that will bring up Ricardo De Lugo will be the first batter for the Majors here. The Brantford Red Sox last year, I don't know if he expected to be swinging the bat today, but the Majors a little short-staffed today when it comes to batters. And he's not expected to be swinging or to be throwing today on case of emergency, maybe. But he's going to swing the bat today, and he's hitting in the DH in the 6th spot, ahead of Adrian Harrison, Charlie Bowman, and Jagan Chanderdat.
And just as it is a good opportunity for us to be watching these players for the first time in Game 2 of these exhibition games, it's a good opportunity for the coaching staff to also get a look at how they are in competitive play here in this league, because the IBL is very different than a whole lot of other baseball leagues, and it's good to just see how they compare when they're in these more live competitive situations.
As DeLugo takes strike one there from Owen McNeil. That one on the outside of the plate will be ball one.
And like we mentioned, DeLugo previously playing with the Brantford Red Sox, so still relatively close by here in the IBL.
Yep, and he doesn't look like he's phased by by batting there by any means, as he was just over top of that one. As the 1-2 pitch from McNeil will be right through Ibarra's legs. No need to make sure you get a really good block with no runners on base.
Yeah, not too much to worry about in that case if it slips on by.
You still want to get the attempt, but if you don't, you don't.
And defensively, this is a good opportunity for the opposing teams to get a look at these players, some cases on their new teams in their new homes.
As DeLugo will swing and miss at that one with the strikeout there.
So far today, you're going to notice the defensive alignment's going to be pretty well right up center. Once the season gets going, once they get to players that they've battled before, you might see those defensive alignments shift to left, shift a bit to right. But especially in these preseason exhibition games, they're going to be pretty well standard right up Main Street defensively.
Exactly, and maybe some guys that have been around the league a few years, you'll see a little bit. As Adrian Harrison pops that one, and it drops in to right field. And he's going to slide head first into second base, definitely making a great case for that one as it drops in just in front of the right fielder, sliding in there. Trying to make the play was Penalva, actually, the one that had the great inning earlier with his hit. And that'll bring Bowman up with a runner in scoring position. Bowman, another one that had a really good game on Friday, definitely is showing that he can do things, when called upon here.
On a great personality down in the dugout as well. Always happy, always in a chipper mood. One of definitely the mood boosters over in the dugout for the Majors. So that one swung on, just hit towards third base, and Aplovich thrown over to first to Parsons to get the out, but it does advance Adrian Harrison over to third. So another productive kind of small ball out here for the Majors in this game.
Yep, and that will bring Jagan Chanderdat to the plate with a runner at third base.
So the Majors another scoring opportunity here if they can drive one in here in the bottom of the second. That brings Jagan Chanderdat up to the bat here. Batted .214 last season, 188 in his career. 3 runs and 3 hits last year, so every time he got onto the base paths, he was productive coming around for the run.
And he had a few big hits there in Barrie to end the year off. A couple big ones when you needed it. He is a younger player for this team, but he's getting the reps that he needs. He's getting the hits when called upon. He can play the middle infield if need be. It definitely helps out for a team that has the versatility when we need somebody to pop into a different spot or a pinch runner. He does have the speed that he can run out there.
Depth is key no matter what. We're not feeling it a lot now, but once the season rolls around, pretty much most teams start battling potential injuries. So having that depth, not just in pitching, but in the box as well, is huge. Big key factor for these teams.
And it's still a working man's league. Some guys work over weekends. Some of our staff works over weekends. That's why you and I are up in the booth today. But the working man's league, everybody needs to be ready to play when they show up. As Chanderdat goes down looking at a high fastball to end the inning. The Majors still leading 1-0 here as they take on the Kitchener Panthers, the London Majors versus the Panthers on MajorsTV, presented by the Clubhouse and the Factory at 100 Kellogg Lane.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
And welcome back to London Majors Baseball here as a new arm on the mound for your London Majors as Victor Paeno takes the hill here. Paeno joined the team last year, was kind of an in and out, played in the bullpen, pitched as a starter. By the end of the year was definitely a starter, was third in the IBL in strikeouts with 90. Another key position for the Majors, with Jose Arias and Travis Keys there in the rotation for him. So he brings another deadly arm to the rotation as he takes on a couple innings here to get his first action of the season. And he'll take on the extra hitter. As we mentioned, there's 11 hitters today for the Panthers, Arthur Koheler.
And so for Koheler, it was his first year in the league last year. He played with the Guelph Royals, ended up playing in 15 combined games from both the regular season and the playoffs as well, combined at 175 hitter during that time.
And he looks at ball one as Paeno gets the mound to how he's looking for it here. Obviously, coming into a game, you don't get everything exactly how you're looking for, but he'll get things started here with ball one.
Well, again, last year was his first year, and definitely you'll hear it a lot, but progression is not linear in baseball.
As that one's popped into foul territory, into a few fans there down the right field line.
Like I was mentioning, this is a game of streaks. This is a game of inconsistencies. Sometimes it can be a little all over the place, and sometimes once you get hot, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get there.
Well, and as you mentioned, this kind of game here, you're just looking to get some reps in. You want to make sure that you're swinging the bat, you don't get hurt. As he lines that one, Koheler lines that one into left field over the head of Charlie Bowman, and he throws it back into Jagan Chanderdat. And Koheler is on base with a double to left field.
That was a solid hit, too. Very good contact. It looked like Paeno just left that one a little bit right in the middle of the strike zone, so very easy for him to barrel it up and hit it out towards left center there. Gets a nice little double because of it.
And with the cold temperature, the ball is not going to fly today. I will be the one to mention that to everyone here, that ball will not fly today. As Junior Ibarra, the catcher in today's action for the Panthers, will come to the plate with a runner in scoring position already.
Now, you say we won't get probably a lot of home runs today, but we'd like to be pleasantly surprised. Hopefully that turns here.
I like home runs, as long as they're for the Majors.
Exactly.
As Ibarra looks at strike one there across from Victor Paeno.
Ibarra been with the Panthers throughout his entire career. Career 276 hitter with 6 home runs, 42 RBIs, and his strike-to-walkout ratio is pretty close, to say the least.
As that one's popped up into no man's land. Toby Simmons, this speed out there, comes in, calls off Jagan Chanderdat and Adrian Harrison. The center fielder has that ball 9 times out of 10, and he makes the catch there about the kneecap range, as Paino's thankful for that one to get out a very strong batter in Ibarra for the team. You know, he, especially when you play it at a Kitchener Panthers park, if you haven't been there, the ball flies to the highway out there.
Yeah, it can always get out pretty quick, and like you mentioned, center fielders always will have control no matter what. They have the biggest view across the board of the entire field, so they get the final say. As this one's hit deep out to right, that's over to Harrison, not able to get to it on the warning track now. That'll drive in Kawara there. As Kiro's making his way down third. Third a little high, goes just a bit too far. But Nico Kiro's sitting over at third there with a very nice triple, an RBI triple at that too, to deep right.
And that ball, I had looked down for 2 seconds as that pitch was thrown, and then all of a sudden it was over the right fielder's head, and little high throw by Jagan Chanderdat. I think if you're able to get that ball a little lower, you're able to make that tag, but a triple for Kiros as he will stand in position with a tie game, as Klaus Appelvich will come to the plate, the third baseman in today's game, and the Majors will bring the infield in. That is what pregame or exhibition baseball is about, getting reps in on certain situations that will happen in late games when you don't want to have to be practicing it.
Exactly. Work out those kinks here while we're in these exhibition games before we get to the main regular season. Appelvich would like to keep the scoring going here, as right now he's only played with the Panthers so far. He played last in 2023. Career 222 hitter, hit 255 in the regular season that year.
As Kiros comes down the line, and a foul off the inside of the foot that Appelvich is shaking out right away. That one will that'll leave a mark there. I don't know about you. I've never had to experience that as I caught, so I never really swung the bat. I was more of the we'll call it the Eduardo Diolio special. Maybe a little less power for sure, but I got my hits when I did, but definitely defensive is what I was brought in for.
Well, and that's half the game right there.
Exactly.
Definitely underrated here in baseball. Not quite as flashy, but still.
As Paino with the pitch, and they're going to call it a strike. They're going to check on third, throw to first for Brad Verhoeven. And Appelvich is out swinging with a putout of 2-3 on the play here. And Kiros still at third base there with 2 out. You're hoping Paino can get through this, is exactly what he's looking for and the defense is looking for. Get through, keep the runner at third base. This is where later in the season you're going to start having these situations come up, and you don't want to have to deal with them. You want to make sure that this doesn't happen in a game and you're in a new situation. You don't know what to do. You can practice it all you want, but in a game like this is where you run those plays.
And this will bring Cam Bauer up, another DH today, one of the extra hitters, as he grounds it over to short. Easy throw over to first. And the Majors able to limit it to just a 1 run here in the top of the third. And
if you're Paino, you kind of like that feeling. You don't want to have your first guy on base be in the regular season. Feel a guy on base, run, throw from the stretch, throw from your normal stance. Have a feel of it as you see him walk off the field. He's never been a fast guy off the field, that's for sure. By any means, he runs the field when he is out there, as the Majors will take their swings here with a new arm, as we will get a look at that number 52 from what we're being told here.
Well, the Majors are going to get right back up to the top of the order here. It's going to be Toby Simmons, Francisco Fajardo, and Eduardo Diolio here to kick things off in the bottom of the third in this 1-1 game here.
As we look, trying to find a pitcher name, we apologize. Not all the names on the card today, I should say not all the numbers on the card today, but we will go with 52 for the team right now on the hill for the Panthers, as we will do our research here, trying to find the name here. But this is exhibition baseball. This is what you get. Once the regular season, everybody's on the card. All the numbers are filled out. You don't have to worry about it.
Well, we ran into a similar situation during Friday's game where there was a pitching change, but Owen Boone appeared to have come into the game, but it wasn't. It was someone wearing Owen Boone's jersey, just to make things more complicated for you at home and for us up here in the broadcast booth. Can never be too easy during these exhibition games. Always keeps you on your toes on both ends.
Well, as someone who knows Owen Boone very well, that definitely was not Owen Boone, unfortunately. But as you mentioned, it brings up Toby Simmons, who had the walk earlier.
And again, this is his first year with the Majors, first year in the IBL as well, and one of the switch hitters on the team as well. Majors have a few of them, 4 in total on the roster this year, so he'll bat it from both ends, depending on which way the pitcher throws.
As he looks at ball 1 there from the pitcher, and as we said, we are working on who that is.
For Simmons, he's from Nassau over in the Bahamas. Last played with the FCL Marlins in their system.
And we mentioned there earlier, he is the first pro player to come from the Bahamas. There has been a couple guys that have been Canadian citizens that are from the Bahamas. There was one actually for the Panthers last year that was from the Bahamas, but is a Canadian citizen. Toby, the first Bahama player overall, pro style, to come from the Bahamas. As he flies that one out. Easy fly out to the left fielder there. Simmons now 1 for 2 on the day. As that will bring up Francisco Fajardo to the plate. Francisco joins the team as an import this year. The team's first import shortstop since Keith Candell back a few years ago.
And again, another fresh face and also another switch hitter here on the team for the London Majors. Very exciting. Last played for the Vancouver Canadiens. So excited to see him up to bat throughout the season here with the Majors.
And not a very tall player this year. That is one thing the Majors are not full of this year. You know, you look at some of the players, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6". Not many guys above 6 foot this year on stat record. When you stand next to them, okay, maybe they might look 6 foot, but lots of guys under the 6 foot radar. As that one is bounced to the third baseman off the glove, and that will head to the shortstop. Charlie Towers will pick it up. But a base hit to Francisco Fajardo, as Eduardo Diolio will come to the plate here.
So that'll bring Fajardo to 1-2 here in today's matchup. Grounding it out to short in his last at-bat. Now very happy to be over at first base.
And another player that comes with speed. Fajardo does come with speed when he is at or on the base pass. That is something the Majors have a lot of this year when it comes to the top of the order especially.
And of course, Eddie been on this team for a good amount of years. Eduardo Diolio now, career .314 hitter.
As Fajardo gets in there on the first attempt with the little bit of a swim move there, and he will get into second base on the first pitch. Strike 1 to Diolio, but Fajardo now in at second base.
It was a very close play over at second base there. Shout out to Ibarra for making it that close in the first place with just how fast Fajardo is.
And we should mention that it actually has gone down as an error on the third baseman there, not a hit for Fajardo. So he is still 1-0 as he takes off, and Eduardo Diolio swings through that one, but Fajardo is safe at third base, my apologies, as Eduardo is at a 0-2 count, but a runner at third base on 2 pitches. I think that's exactly what every batter wants, is a runner at third base. And
Have we mentioned he's fast?
Let me check my notes here. I think he's fast. As an 0-2 count to a Diolio. As that'll skip through Ibarra's leg, and Fajardo will cruise into home plate and bring the Majors up 2-1. Ibarra tried to get down on that one, but unfortunately skipped off the knee pad and skipped to the right side of the plate here. I have to remember my lefts and rights. It's a little different being up here instead of...
It's a tall task.
Yeah, you know... So it's a little different. You got to remember left field is on the left side, but when you're looking at it from center field, it's a little different. I'm used to being out in center field there with my camera.
I hear you. I usually would play center field, so it almost feels a little backwards at times when first is on your left, third is on your right. As Eddie swings through that one.
Diolio down with the swinging strike. 2 out there in the inning, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Brad Verhoeven, who had a single in the first inning. Brad continues to put on a display for manager Roop Chanderdat here as he continues to work hard to be a key piece to the lineup this summer.
And again, you're going to hear us use the word utility a lot across the board, both on the pitching side, for the infielders, the outfielders, across the board. It's one of the biggest skills that Roop Chanderdat is valuing in this team, having players who can play a little bit of everything, a little bit everywhere, and that just makes it very easy and hard for him to build these lineups out. It's a tough thing when you have so many possible choices.
As that'll go for ball one. Brad with a 1-1 count. Last year, caught a little bit, played first, played left field, and I think he played a little bit of third base as well. Maybe late in game and needing guys to come in, but mostly an infielder when called upon, as he strikes that one to left center, but it will hang up just enough for the outfielder to make the catch, and Brad Verhoeven will go down for the third out as the Majors take a 2-1 lead on a little bit of speed in the inning. You're watching London Majors baseball as they take on the Kitchener Panthers on MajorsTV, brought to you by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogs Lane.
Welcome to the Bat Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at Labatt Park Tours.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.concert of MajorsTV.
And welcome back as Forrest runs the bases. Normally we have many kids out here running the bases, but right now we have about 6. 6 kids in Forrest running the bases as the newest mascot for the London Majors takes the field here. One of the big improvements this year you'll see with the Majors between our broadcast up here, some new jerseys, some new players, and the newest attraction, we'll call it. On Friday, I think he signed more than about 2,000 autographs.
Definitely a popular addition this offseason. A whole lot of fun and definitely a lot of community engagement as well, with a big survey going out to see what people's go-to names would be for Forest. Of course, a lot of people I know voted for Forest, so funny enough there, just so that they could shout "Run Forest Run" around the bases. I think that's a similar notion to a lot of people around London, so very excited to have that become a more popular chant here going forward at Labatt Memorial Park as Victor Payano takes the mound here in the top of the fourth. This game's really gotten going over the past couple innings.
Yeah, we really moved forward here, and what's really funny is we start the inning back with another DH. We ended the inning with a DH, and we start the inning with a DH. Wander Santana, a strikeout victim of Jose Arias earlier on, and now is going to face Victor Payano as Justin, the sun's coming out.
It is indeed. You know, if you just jinxed it right now, I'm going to be so incredibly upset if that sunshine goes away, and I'm going to hold it against you for the rest of the game.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a little warmer. The breeze has kind of stopped as Payano gets the first strike in.
These pitchers will take anything they can to get a little semblance of heat here during this ball game. Definitely a little brisk. Still not too bad by most Canadian standards for sure.
I'm still in my sweater, so it's not warm. But I'm a little broken, we'll call it, and I'm in sweaters, I think, 9 months of the year. So as that one goes for strike two there to Wander Santana, another newcomer for the Panthers, who went down earlier in the league earlier in the game to Arias on a strikeout looking. Payano looking to match that here. And he will, instead of a strikeout looking, it's a strikeout swinging, but Santana is 0 for 2 on the day versus the Majors starting pitching.
Great start. Great look for both these pitchers that we've seen so far. Good amount of Ks. So that's the first one for Payano, bringing the total for the game up to 6 now. Second in total.
Second, because there was the drop third strike there to Applovich.
Numbers are hard.
Numbers are hard. Numbers are hard. Baseball's a long game. Sometimes we forget. As we see some warming up in the bullpen for the Majors. And I believe that is Jonathan Henry, I believe is who that one is.
It's like we mentioned, we're going to see a lot of 2-2-2 here in today's game. So with this being Payano's second inning pitched, it's likely that this could be the end for him here.
Yes, and I will confirm that is Jonathan Henry warming up his second season with the Majors. As Payano throws that one there for ball one, a 1-2 count to Charlie Towers, another victim of strikeout from Arias.
And again, he was with the Maple Leafs last year. Also played with the Cardinals back in 2023 over in Hamilton. Career .252 hitter, 1 home run, but 24 RBIs, so still pretty productive at the plate.
And that one will go for ball two, just to the outside. Payano still trying to feel things out here. Blowing into the hand, trying to stay warm, make sure that hand stays as warm as possible.
We're hoping to stay away from the rain still here in London, Ontario.
Hey, you said it now we're both even. You can't call me on that one. As Payano gets Towers looking on that one. And that is 2 strikeout lookings for Charlie Towers in today's contest.
So that's 4 combined strikeouts for the top 2 hitters for the Kitchener Panthers here. They'd probably like to get a little bit more consistency at the top of their lineup, but the London pitchers will take everything they can get here in the early innings of this game.
As that'll bring up the first baseman, Nick Parsons, to the plate here. Parsons went down swinging in the first inning to Arias. And Payano drops that breaking ball right over, but unfortunately doesn't get the call on that one, as that will go for ball one to Parsons.
Parsons, not a fast batter, only has 4 stolen bases so far in his career, which stretches back to 2021, all with the Kitchener Panthers there. But still, like we mentioned, very productive. 50 RBIs, 11 home runs, in about 77 total games here in the IBL with the Panthers. So very productive when he is in the box, but speed is not going to be a strong suit here today.
And the Panthers were known for a college team when before the new ownership took over. They had a lot of college players that would come for half the season and then leave half the season, unfortunately, or they'd show up late and then have to leave early. But they would get good players, and that's what Nick Parsons, Charlie Towers, they are going to be a definite if they being here now for a full season. As Parsons will take the walk there, the first walk of the game for Majors pitching.
It's always good to have that local focus, particularly for the Panthers. I think the Red Sox were in a pretty similar situation before they got sold, focusing a lot of internal local talent. The Majors do have their own local players as well, 8 in total from just London and St. Thomas here in town. That equates for almost 30% of the team.
And that's what you're looking for. It helps make sure that the local fans have more than just the out of town people to cheer for. As Yosvani Penalver will take strike 1 here. He got on base earlier and stole on a short hop to Jagan Chanderdat there from Eduardo Diolio as Parsons takes his lead off of first base. Inside on Penalver. You could see him take a little bit of a lean back on that one as it came inside. I think these Dominican and Cuban players are all waiting for the nice warm weather just to get a little more comfortable with this out here. As you see Parsons take his lead off of first base, bouncing back and forth there.
Penalver ready to make an impact. He last pitched with the Cuban National Series back in 2023-2024. Had a 363 average in that time. And like I mentioned, his walk numbers are impeccable. 57 walks during that time and a 496 on-base percentage, which was ranked 4th in the entire league that year. So definitely good at getting on base.
And Pino looking to close out his afternoon here, as he already has pitched incredibly in his 2 innings here. Henry still warming in the bullpen for the next inning. As Pino gets it across there for ball 3, a 3-1 count to Penalver, who already is on base once. One of the only members of the team to get on base.
And Shanif Harani, the new general manager for the Kitchener Panthers, has said that he very much plans on Penalver to be towards the top of the order moving forward for the Kitchener Panthers, definitely trying to set up the middle of the lineup for those impact bats. As he lines it right out towards Jagan Chanderdat there, a great play, quick location, quick on his feet. This definitely coming a lot faster than you think that they will.
And you know what? Knowing Jagan, I think he was a little, oh my goodness, that's coming in hot. And threw the glove up there right in time as he makes the great catch, and with a smile on his face there. I'm sure that smile on his face was not there when it was coming towards him, but the smile on his face as Victor Pino gets the handshake there from both Brent Wales and Roop Chanderdat. We'll see if that is it, but Henry still warming in the bullpen, and we have to apologize, folks. We still do not have a name for our pitcher on the mound. We have the number. We know he's not a returning player for the Panthers, but unfortunately that's all we have at this time. We're still working on the aspects of everything else right now.
A lot of these rosters still aren't even finalized amongst these teams. They're still figuring out who's going to come to play. They're still testing out a few players. We saw that in a couple players during Friday's game. The Majors are even doing it with a few of their own players, sort of testing the waters before the season gets going. So a lot's still up in the air, but, it adds a little mystery, adds a little nuance here to this game in the preseason.
And that's one thing that we have to stress to the fans is, we're doing our best that we're giving up here in the booth, and we go from there as the season or as the exhibition games play on, and you can see the wind. It still is very strong out there, blowing, well, that flag is telling me left to right, right to left, in, out. There's a lot that's going on out there.
Like I mentioned, still cold. Still cloudy for those who aren't able to see it up in the skies here right now.
But it's better than what it was to start the game. As you see some fans braving the temperature, and it looks maybe a little that it is picking up a little bit of the rain here as Ty Mosher comes to the plate here.
Again, we can't complain too much. We do indeed have a roof over our heads. So big shout out to all the fans here in attendance today who are braving some of those elements out there.
Well, and you're in a short sleeve, it looks like, or just a thinner one. I got the long hoodie on here today. That's why we're not on camera today. We just warm, not practical today.
You don't want to see us up in the booth anyway.
No,
we're not the big center of attention. That's all those players out on the field.
As that one goes for strike one, and then ball one to follow that up with. Mosher over at third base today for the Majors. Another utility player can play second, can play short, can play third. Played third. Actually talked to me on Friday that he played third back in college, so it's not a new thing for him, but definitely is more comfortable at your middle infield positions.
There's a reason I don't play third, and the reason they call it the hot corner. It can be terrifying over there. So it's always impressive to be a third baseman and to be good defensively as well in that position as Ty Mosher strikes out here in the bottom of the fourth, making way for Ricardo DeLugo to come up to the plate here.
And DeLugo, like we mentioned, the pitcher for the Majors, coming over from the Brantford Red Sox this winter, I should say. Pitched very well on Friday, pitched 2 innings, I believe had 3 strikeouts in his outing against the Cardinals. Really dominated with his fastball during the outing for the team. As he steps out there, as that one is ball one in the dirt. Barra looks a little shaken up off that one, off the block.
And again, we're still trying to find out a name here for this Kitchener Panthers pitcher. Like we said, a little bit of mystery here in the second exhibition game of this preseason for the Intercounty Baseball League.
A 2-0 count to DeLugo, and he's sitting there thinking, you know what, I want to hit here, boys. I'm going to get a hit here, and he flies it out to right field. Foul over by the bullpen there, and DeLugo is going to go back to the dugout. If he can get a hit here, he's going to go, come on, boys, I got one. I'm a PO here, and I got a hit. That's what he's thinking. If he can just get one down and get on first base, that the boys will be celebrating. It's an exhibition, but it still matters to those guys. Get a little confidence into the team. As Adrian Harrison and Charlie Bowman on deck behind him. DeLugo looking at a straight-up infield, and will swing over the top of that one, bringing the count to even at 2-2, as we see action down in the Panthers bullpen there with number 51 throwing. The set and the pitch, and over the top is DeLugo with that one, and he will go down for his second swinging strikeout of the game.
It's a great off-speed pitch right there from our little mystery pitcher going on right here, mixing up the timings, able to drop that one just towards the bottom of the zone to get that swinging strikeout here.
And that'll bring up right fielder Adrian Harrison, who got all the way over to third base in the game. Harrison, a St. Clair native.
And again, a fresh face here for the Majors and in the league in general from Cotton, Ontario. Last played with the St. Clair Saints.
And here on a tryout basis, still looking to make an impact for the roster spot. As he chops that one to Charlie Towers, hustling out of the box, but thrown out at first base by Towers. A hard run by Harrison there, but 3 up, 3 down for the Kitchener Panthers, and that'll take us to the 5th inning here at Labatt Memorial Park, and that'll take us to commercial as Jonathan Henry comes into the game here, and that'll take us to break. You're watching London Majors Baseball on YouTube, brought to you by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogs Lane.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Torrey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a dive play or a big play.
Welcome to the Bat Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
And welcome back to London Majors Baseball. Matt Hiscox and Justin Koheler on the call here, and Forrest in the ballpark hanging out with his fans here. Not your normal voices here up in the booth. We promise that the normal crew will be back for the home opener as Jonathan Henry takes the mound here. His second season with the team here and his first action in preseason.
Relatively local here in Ontario from Whitby. Looking to get some good momentum going here in the top of this fresh 2025 season.
27 strikeouts in 28 innings in the regular season last year. Definitely a strikeout player or a strikeout pitcher, but puts the ball in play for his defense, and hoping to improve on last year as he gets across with ball one there.
It definitely shows a lot of confidence in his team behind him and the strength defensively of these London Majors. You'll see some pitchers in baseball as a whole, as we'll stop that right there. This one hit deep to left.
Cabral there with the hit to Charlie Bowman there, making the easy fly out. Bowman, another utility guy, catcher, left field, can play infield if need be as well, but definitely an outfield or catcher when need be. As Caleb Keane-Plante will come to the plate here. A strikeout victim earlier in the game as Henry with the first pitch will go for strike one.
Yeah, as I was saying, you get a mix of pitchers. Some will try and dance around the zone a little bit, end up giving up more walks. Henry, definitely one who's willing to challenge the batter in the box. And like we mentioned, sometimes it's a bit of a high-risk, high-reward situation where you're going to get those swing and miss. Sometimes you're going to get those nice grounders, those flyouts to the fielders, but you might also sacrifice some home runs and some hard-hit balls in the process.
He's definitely pitching hard through this one already with a 2-1 count to Keane-Plante, the extra hitter in today's contest. The Panthers batting 12 members of their roster today. They have today's game, and I believe they have one more against the Chatham Barnstormers on Thursday for Chatham's school day game. 900 students expected to be in attendance for Chatham in that game.
And they're going to have a lot of fun.
Definitely. Have you made it down to Chatham yet?
Not quite yet so far.
No, as Brad Verhoeven makes the play there, flipping it back to Jonathan Henry. As we mentioned, Henry working on those ground ball hits, getting over to first base, covering as the second out of the inning. Chatham, their second year in the league this year, and will be expected, I think, to make some more impact this year. They definitely made an impact last year, finishing 8th in the league. But I think with the new manager and the new players they've brought in will definitely be a really good impact, as that one's fouled up onto the roof and over the ceiling. No bang today.
We're waiting for the little
we were
ping
waiting for
above
the
us.
If our good friend Dylan Baker is watching, Dylan, don't worry, that one did not scare us today.
And so, yes, the Panthers were a little deceiving last year in that their at-bats, their batting average was one of the top ones in the league from numbers that I was looking at a little bit earlier. It was the pitching side that definitely let them down a little bit, especially towards the tail end of their season, resulting in their final placement as that one almost hits him in the box right there. Good to get out of the way on that one for Lawson.
Lawson was able to turn and spin all in one on that one. Lawson a strikeout victim earlier in the game as he brings that one to a 2-2 count versus Henry here. Henry making quick work of this inning so far. He's really showing that he's building that trust in himself and in manager Roop Chanderdat up this year already.
Well, it looks like he's definitely trying to work the count a little bit, moving his pitches around, able to get that one to just hit the bottom of the zone. But even the pitch right beforehand is able to start in the zone, dip right down. So a great mix of pitches for Henry to start off his career season in 2025.
And that is a fly out, ground out, and a strikeout in one inning for Henry. I think there's not much more you could ask for in that one if you're looking for 3 outs in the inning. And that will bring up
Charlie Bowman to the plate here.
I was just flipping over my paper there as you beat me to it there.
It's one step ahead of you on this one.
You can tell the professional radio guy and the media guy that, calls everything while he's on the field, but definitely is new to the play-by-play, as we have another new arm on the mound for the Kitchener Panthers, number 51 here. We'll see if we can pull a name for that one for you.
We'll talk Bowman's numbers in the meantime. He's about to start things off. It'll be then Jagan Chanderdat on deck and Toby Simmons top of the order in the hole as we enter in the bottom of the 5th here on, again, this cloudy, definitely a little brisk Sunday here in London, Ontario. Charlie, career 182 hitter with only four strikeouts across the 2023 and 2024 campaigns. In 23, though, he did only play during the playoffs, appeared in 3 games, had 4 at-bats, so definitely in more of a pinch hitter situation that year, more situational, end up getting a little bit more consistent playing time, but he's looking for even more here entering 2025. Played in 16 games during the regular season last year, ended up having 4 hits and 4 runs, very similar to Jagan Chanderdat, who's right after him, where every time he was on base, every time he got a hit, he ended up coming around to score. So very productive at-bats for him.
And another one, unfortunately, we will have to go with a no name there, as we will go with number 51 on the plate there, or on the mound, as Charlie Bowman comes over. And I'm getting a note here from our good pal Neil. It's Andrew McNeil on the hill for the Panthers here, as McNeil takes the first, as you see Ibarra making some signs there to his outfield there, kind of shifting them around already, making some movement. As we'll see McNeil get across for strike 2 there already.
Charlie looking to get on for the first time today. He's 0 for 1. A little ground out to short his last time up, as he just fouls this one. Good contact on that to stay alive here in the count.
As home plate umpire gives Ibarra a break there for a moment.
And again, very cold here today, and Charlie Bowman looking to heat up here in the early innings here, mid-innings, I guess I should say, here in the 5th. That pitch just outside to bring the count to 1-2 here on Charlie Bowman.
And as you say, it's warm up. I'm going to close the window. That breeze is coming in a little harder than we want.
It's a good call. I appreciate that.
Yeah. As Bowman taps that one to the second baseman, running through, and will get thrown out there at first base for the first out of the inning, as Jagan Chanderdat will come to the plate.
Chanderdat struck out in his first at-bat back in the bottom of the 2nd, looking to get on base here. Again, like I mentioned, very similar to a lot of Charlie Bowman's numbers in that he's has 3 hits in his career right now, 3 runs during last year's campaign. So very productive when he is on base, and he'd like to keep that going here.
As he pops that one into right field. Quick out for Jagan Chanderdat there as Andrew McNeil. We've had the second McNeils today. So we have Owen McNeil and Andrew McNeil as Toby Simmons comes to the plate here looking to continue his good day at the plate and in the field. As we mentioned, he's not going to be a home run kind of player, but he does have the ability to kind of get the ball into the outfield, but he's going to be your speed threat when he gets on base and really make the contact there as he comes set against McNeil.
Well, one of the underappreciated aspects of being fast, being quick on those base passes, just how uncomfortable it can make the defenders and the pitcher as well, having that extra little thing in the back of their head that they have to think about.
As that one goes for ball 1, bring the count to 1-1.
And again, like we mentioned, this is Simmons' first time in the league as a whole, so first time here with the Majors, looking to stand out a little bit in these early exhibition games.
And we saw this on Friday that it was kind of as the game got on, the run started manufacturing a little heavier as Simmons takes that one for ball 2, bring it to 2-2. Simmons, the speed doesn't just affect the base path, so the speed affects his defensive abilities to track down fly balls that maybe some can't, cover the gaps a little more as he throws the head of the bat at that one, landing fair, and will take the turn around first, getting in, standing, overrunning second base, but gets back before the throw, and he's in there with a stand-up double. His second time on base today with a short little fly out to left field, and that's what we talk about, the speed. A short fly ball to left field, probably wasn't 30 feet off the infield, and he makes it all the way to second base with that speed. The IBL better take warning now.
Well, it was a good play by Lawson, too, over in left to get to the ball as quick as he did and to get it in, but it says even more about Simmons' speed, like we've been talking about, as he breaks over for third. No throw made. And I will correct you. I believe they've moved Santana into left field now, and Lawson is out of the game for now in the field. And like we mentioned, you're going to see a whole lot of moving around with these exhibition games. The coaching staff looking to try things out, moving players around, both on the field and the lineup. We're going to see a lot of pitching changes, so bear with us throughout the course of this game today.
As Diolio with a 1-1 count, Fajardo with a 1-1 count, lays down the bunt, trying to the suicide squeeze there. And I think with those two, I think that's probably not the last time we're going to see that this year. You've got speed at third base and speed at home that can get up the first base line, and you've got the third baseman playing back. That pitcher's falling off on the wrong side of the rubber. It's going to be a very tough play for anybody. As Fajardo will take a look at the second ball of his at-bat, bring the count to 2-2, and with 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And you see this a lot in the major leagues. Even just showing bunt once or twice can put the entire defense on edge, not knowing whether to come in, push back. The attention focusing from the batter having to make that hustle over to first, and the runner over on third. So there's a lot going through the heads of the defense and for the pitcher, and sometimes it can end up causing a couple mistakes, which the Majors will hopefully be relying on here to try and get a hit and hopefully an RBI one here.
As Fajardo will throw the head of the bat at that one. That one's carrying. And a great play by the center fielder there for the Kitchener Panthers, Jamie Cabral, diving out for that one, making a great play in center field, ending the inning for the Majors here at 2-1 with the lead. That will be it for this inning. We are heading to break here. Majors up 2-1. You're watching London Majors Baseball here on YouTube, presented by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogg Lane.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's The Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
Welcome to the Bat Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labatparktours.ca.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a dive play or a big play.
And welcome back to London Majors Baseball here in the Inter-County Baseball League on this cloudy and chilly day right now for some action between the London Majors and the visiting Kitchener Panthers. It's Jonathan Henry back on the mound here for the London Majors, here set to take on Arthur Kawara, Junior Ibarra, and Nico Quiros here in the top of the sixth. But a very close game here, almost a borderline pitcher duel back and forth, and a lot of kind of small ball action. You're not going to see too much in the way of balls carrying out here. It's kind of brisk, windy day here in London, Ontario, as we get ready for the first pitch of the inning. That one way up and outside here. That'll be ball one. And up to the bat is Arthur Kawara here, like I mentioned, for the Panthers. In his last at-bat, he is the one run here for the Panthers as he drives this one right over to Henry, right on the mound, an easy play over to first. And that's one quick out here in the top of the sixth.
I don't think there's an easier out that he could have made by any means.
It's always dangerous, too, when the ball goes right up Main Street like that, but luckily ended up kind of catching off the end of the bat. Not too much velocity on it, so Henry may be able to make it look nice and easy.
Well, when I was down on home plate there before the game, the guys were making sure their BP pitcher was behind the screen a couple times there as they let some go as Ibarra comes to the plate here. A fly out to center field earlier in the game.
Panthers just one run back and one hit back as well, as this one's driven deep out towards left center. And Charlie Bowman able to make it look easy out there in left, makes that catch. Makes it, again, a quick 2 outs here in the top of the sixth.
Bowman moving, it looked very slow. It looked like it was going to carry a little deeper than it did there. I think if this is a nice, warm, sunny day, that ball may have carried a little further over the plate or over the fence for Ibarra, but a nice cold day. Majors will take it, and they're manufacturing the runs without having to hit home runs, as we see Jared Lund getting some work in here early, getting warmed up.
It's definitely a deceiving one hit over towards left for us. Like you mentioned, definitely looked like it was going to carry a little bit more, so a bit shocking here, but Majors will take it.
As that brings up Nico Quiros to the plate there, and I believe I have to make an adjustment myself here, Justin, as that was Quiros who made the catch there in the to end the fifth inning, as he grounds that one to Fajardo. A scoop of the ball and a throw to Brad Verhoeven over at first base with a great catch. A quick inning for Jonathan Henry. A good start to his summer already, even though it's a little cold out. He started the season well, and he'll get the handshake from manager Roop Chanderdat, as that looks like it will bring in Jared London, the top of the seventh inning.
Well, that was a blink and you'll miss it kind of an inning. 3 up, 3 down. Very, very quick here for the top of the 6th as we're really starting to ramp through this game. It looks like it's been over in almost a flash here from the first to the 6th.
I had to disappear there quickly, and, by the time I was back, we already had almost 1 out there. And very, very quick for the Majors. And that's if you're the pitching staff and manager Roop Channer, that's what you want to see. You want to see quick innings. You want to get the bats back out there, especially after, we haven't had a run here since the 3rd inning. As Forrest is trying to cheer on the boys and get them to swing the bat a little harder here.
Must be nice to have a beard like that on a day like today.
I wish I could say something for myself, but I trimmed mine down on Friday, and I'm missing it now in the colder weather. As the Majors will take the plate here. Forrest doing some hoedown dancing with his fans here. As we'll see we'll continue to see number 51 here on the mound for the Kitchener Panthers. And as the season comes closer and closer, you'll see guys returning from school. It just like today, this is the first game for Alex Springer. He's back with the Majors right now after returning from school, actually Saturday night.
Springer, this will be his 3rd season here with the team, and a London native too, from London, Ontario. Last played with the St. Thomas Tomcats before ending up joining with the Majors.
As that one goes inside and off the glove of Ibarra. Diolio looking at ball 1 there. And fans, we always want to hear from you. If if you're not subscribed to the Majors on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Every Majors home game will be brought to you here on Majors TV. Our dedicated crew, always, always, always making sure that you are able to enjoy every action of the game. As that one's in there for ball 3 to Diolio. And a hitter's count here. I think this is, if you're looking for Diolio, you're looking either green light or a walk. And if you're Diolio, you want that green light.
You think he's got to have the green light on this one.
And he had it, and it's right into the Majors bullpen, through the fence actually, into the stands, as that one was laced hard into the stands, bringing it to a 3-1 count for Diolio.
Always got to be paying attention no matter where you are, out in the field, some of the fans over in the stands, or even over in the bullpen as well.
I have to say, as Diolio takes the walk there, as myself, this is year 8. Touch wood, and I'm going to make sure I touch as much wood here. Have not been hit yet. This is year 8, and I have not been hit yet. So we'll continue that good vibes here, hopefully, that throughout the season.
We'd like for that to be a streak that just never ends.
Yes,
Again,
exactly.
Knock on wood.
Knock on as much wood here as Brad Verhoeven takes the plate here with a runner on first base in Eduardo Diolio. Brad already has a hit in this game here, a single to first base. And he'll chop that one over to second. A great play by the second baseman here, advancing the runner to second, though, in Eduardo Diolio. That ball looked like it might have squeezed by if it was about another foot and a half to the right side of the foul. But unfortunately, a great play by the second baseman here. And I have to say that is Jamie Cabral there at second base, coming from center field now into second base here. And it looks like Santana is now in center field.
Again, everyone moving around. The Majors like to flex their utility players, but it definitely looks like the Kitchener Panthers have a few of their own that can move from the outfield to the infield.
As Mosher will watch ball 1 and Diolio will get to third base there. The only thing I can say, though, is at least we know the Majors as of now. When we see guys move, we can see them a little. We don't have a full roster for the Panthers at this time yet, so we can't. We don't have the luxury of saying, "Oh yeah, that's so and so in center field." I'm going by actually Wander Santana actually has incredible hair there. Out, we saw it there to start the inning or to start the game there as he led the game off, and he's able to see from center or all the way out in center field here.
Again, got to keep us on our toes up in the broadcast booth.
Can they do it to the normal guys, not us?
You know what? They're just being nice. They're including us in the, I guess we'll call it fun here.
The fun.
That brings the count to 2-1 here. Verhoeven, a 257 average in his career. 16 RBIs and 1 homer. Correction, this is Mosher. Verhoeven ended up grounding out just beforehand.
It's okay. We're allowed to make mistakes. Remember that.
Mosher would like to get on base. He's got 2 strikeouts so far in this game right now. And the plate discipline pays off, and he gets to walk on over to first. So 2 on base here in the bottom of the 6th. 1 in scoring position. Diolio over at third.
And I do have to apologize. I do see a note here in our YouTube chat. Earlier we were talking about the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers finishing 7th. They finished 5th, actually, and I do remember that now. Not looking at my notes, it was the 5-hole that they finished in. As DeLugo looks at ball 1 there. Runners on first and third here for DeLugo as he looks to bring in the Majors' 3rd run.
And it was a tight race towards the end of last season in particular. Pickoff throw over to first. Mosher able to get there in time. It was a tight battle between a whole lot of teams in the league. Definitely kept it interesting towards the end of the season as the places were moving around. We were trying to figure out what the final playoff picture would look like, almost right down to the wire. As that pitch swung on, drilled over towards left center. Right in the gap between the infielder and the outfielders. An RBI single for Ricardo DeLugo there.
DeLugo celebrating over there with Springer over coaching first base as DeLugo gets his first hit in the exhibition series and his first RBI as Diolio comes in for the 3rd run, the 4th hit of the game for the Majors, and that'll bring up Adrian Harrison to the plate.
It doubles the lead the Majors have. Now up by 2 runs, 3-1 here in the bottom of the 6th. Pitch 1 in for a strike. Harrison is 1 for 2 on the day so far, able to get on base, made his way all the way to third over in the bottom of the 2nd.
A long look back at second base, and he will drive that one to center field. Mosher tagging up, taking off to third base. DeLugo looking to do the same, but he'll stay at first. Mosher to third base, and Harrison with the 2nd out, bringing up Charlie Bowman to the plate. Majors looking to get another run here and extend the lead here going into the 7th inning.
So we got 2 on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Again, the Majors would like to keep it rolling here. Tack on at a little bit of safety here, getting towards the later innings of the game.
Bowman squaring around for the bunt there, but Ibarra basically read that one like a book. He was off the plate as quick as possible, ready to throw out DeLugo there, running to third base, or running to second base. Bowman ready in the box, though, for the 1-0 pitch. And he'll swing that, or line that one to the second baseman, and that will end the inning for the London Majors. Ricardo DeLugo gets the 3rd run of the game for the Majors, scoring Eduardo Diolio. Jared Lund comes in to the game when we return on Majors TV between action of the Kitchener Panthers and London Majors. Here, brought to you by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogg Lane.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Torrey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
And welcome back to Majors TV. Jared Lund on the hill for the Majors here. Got some work in on Friday versus the Cardinals and looks to get some more action here versus the Kitchener Panthers.
The London native as well in his 5th season in the IBL and with the Majors here in his career. He has a 6.82 ERA as that pitch just goes up and outside for ball 1.
And if you have not seen Jared Lund pitch, he has one of the funkiest deliveries. His knee almost scrapes across the ground as he comes from the left-hand side with the 1-1 count here to the Kitchener Panthers. The funky delivery brings him very low to the ground in 9 times out of 10, and it's right across the mound.
It can be very deceiving, especially when you get that low. Those fastballs can almost slightly appear like they're in an upward direction, and mixing in those off speeds can just have it just dip right out of the zone. And for Lund, his best year came arguably back in 2023 at a 5.28 ERA, pitched 30 innings, and had 29 strikeouts, and gave up just 25 walks throughout that season.
As Klaus Appelvich looks at a 2-2 count.
For Lund last year, didn't get a ton of playing time. Only played in 2 games, only pitched an inning and 2/3, got 2 strikeouts, a walk, and gave up just 1 hit. And that was in the playoffs last year, excuse me. Regular season a little bit different as this one's grounded out to short. Quick throw to first for the first out here in the top of the 7th.
And Fajardo making it look easy out there for the Majors, as that will bring up Cam Bauer to the plate here. As Bauer comes to the plate here, Lund with a early out, with a ground out, and like I said, it just shows what he can do with that swing. And a quick line drive out to Ty Mosher there. We saw that earlier in the game with Jag and Chanderdat, but as you said, they don't call it the hot corner for nothing, as Mosher caught that one basically right at shoulder level.
Let's see, Mosher had a bit of a smile on his face right there. That'll give a little adrenaline boost to anyone at any time. As we move back to the top of the order here for the Kitchener Panthers. Wander Santana up to the plate. Lund getting a quick 2 outs here in the inning. Would like to make it a quick 3 as that pitch drops in there for strike 1.
Starts it off well. Lund is one of those players where he's definitely going to get his innings in. He's going to get the outs recorded. He's going to have, the odd blip in the system, but he has been one of the best lefties out of the Majors bullpen. Made a few starts in a couple times when need be, but is definitely a workhorse and another, as you said, local that is very good for this team here for the Majors. Out of the bullpen, starting when need be, and as we've talked about, that funky delivery can set any team off as he gets the strikeout there quickly. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Wander Santana sits down for the 3rd time here in a strikeout. This time swinging, and Lund will take the handshake from manager Roop Chanderdat.
Very good outing for him. And the nice thing about Lund is his pitching delivery, which we've mentioned a few times, not only boost himself and his play style, but will also boost the other pitchers in the rotation and in the bullpen that the Majors have. Changing that delivery, that sight line a little bit that these batters are seeing can make it incredibly tough to read these pitches coming in because you're moving your sight lines around. The pitches change from one to another, so he immediately looks different from the pitcher before him, and then the pitcher coming in after him in the following inning will also look drastically different to these batters, so keeps everyone on their toes.
Exactly, and it looks like there's going to be another switch here, like we've mentioned. It looks like it's Richard DeLugo warming up in the bullpen for the Majors, as we have another new arm for the Panthers coming in, and we will get you that number as soon as possible. It is number 16. We can give you that for sure.
And again, these two-way players are definitely starting to become more and more popular. For anyone paying attention to Major League Baseball, it's starting to happen more and more often with a certain Japanese fellow named Shohei Ohtani.
Well, and it's not just the Japanese. We've seen it now a few times here in the IBL. A few years ago, the London Majors had one. Ismael Peña was one of the top Canadians in the league. Played first, played pitcher, had a few home run swings every once in a while. And this will be Yadier Martinez. This one we can confirm coming into the bullpen, or coming into the game for the Kitchener Panthers. Martinez, another Cuban for the team here.
I mentioned the major leagues. We'll give a quick update for anyone watching the Blue Jays game, which is on right now as well. The Jays are down 4-0 in the bottom of the fourth with 2 on right now. They're looking to improve things a little bit. But anyways, speaking of majors, back to the London Majors here in today's game. Wanted to give that little update for anyone watching.
And they'll take on Martinez, who pitched last year, or this is his third year for the Majors. And he pitched 76 innings last year with 11 starts, racking up a very decent 91 strikeouts last year, second most, just one above the Majors' Victor Paino, as he'll take on Jagan Chanderdat here as his first batter.
I'm sure he's one of those that would like to combine the postseason and regular season stats, because that would put him in triple digits for strikeouts in his year last year.
As that one's in for strike 2, but dropped by strike 1, my apologies, but dropped by Ibarra. Chanderdat with a 1-1 count, made it a great defensive play earlier in the game.
And clearly one of the more dependable pitchers for the Kitchener Panthers. In last year's, just the postseason alone, he started in 2 games, pitched 10 innings, and got 10 strikeouts. So ended up coming in clutch during that time as well.
And Chanderdat looks at ball 2 here, looking to get on base for the Majors. As he looks at that one in there as a slider across home plate for out number 1 in the inning. And that'll bring up Toby Simmons taking on Martinez here. The top of the lineup coming back.
A lot of excitement from Simmons so far. A play out in center field, been on base a few times as well. Was the first run for the Majors in the bottom of the first.
And that's the first time we've seen him square around for a bunt. Squared around, but pulled back quickly, but still is strike 1 there on the lineup, or on the box score. And if he gets on base, I think we'll see him at second base within a few pitches, if not right away.
I think that's a safe call, It's very smart of him to be squaring up to bunt, because this is his first time in the league, as he just fouls that one off. First time in the league, first time with the Majors. He's shown that he has a bit of power. He's got good contact. He's got some speed. And now he's showing that he's willing to bunt to get on base as well. That'll put the entire defense in a little bit of a funk, even before the season even gets going.
And it's not all the time you see somebody watching these games, but the pitchers will turn back and watch this game, and they'll be trying to get the scouting report for this game as DeLugo continues to warm up in the bullpen for the Majors, as Simmons lines that one to to right field through the infield, and he's on first base. I don't think we'll see him there too long. As Fajardo comes to the plate, another speed threat.
Some solid contact on that one as well. Great placement, getting it right between the first and second baseman there to get that base hit. Some solid contact, and you can definitely tell that GM Roop Chanderdad is going to love that about him and a lot of the others on the team this season.
5 hits for the Majors so far this season, or for this game, as Martinez checks in on Simmons, doesn't want him getting far by any means, and being the Cubans that can speak Spanish together, I'm sure Toby can speak a little bit of Spanish. He's getting a few words of encouragement from Martinez over there. And that's one thing that you have to like about the IBL is there's definitely a brotherhood of the imports that all try to get to know each other and speak together. And Fajardo will line that one over the shortstop's head, and Simmons makes the large turnaround second base, but will come back in, and Francisco Fajardo gets on base, and two strong speed runners on base for a very heavy hitter in Eduardo Diolio.
Definitely dangerous, and you definitely got to think with 2 speed threats on, they might be practicing some double steals because they're definitely capable of it. We'll see if they do try it. It is a bit of a dangerous, risky move, especially heading over to third base, where it's a little bit closer for the catcher, but it's definitely in the realm of possibilities for these guys here today.
Well, I'm not going to be the one to say this, but I don't think Eduardo Diolio is going to lay down a bunt.
There's a first for everything, but we'll see. I think you're right on this one.
In a different situation, maybe, but I don't think we see Eduardo Diolio lay down a bunt. We'll see him actually take a hard swing. I think he was looking for 3 runs instead of just moving the runners over on that swing there, as he sees a 1-0 count. Runners on first and second, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Again, Diolio, a fan favorite for sure. Everyone loves him. Always gets some cheers from the home crowd here at Labatt Memorial Park.
As that one's lined back to the pitcher, Martinez. A 1-5-3 double play there as Francisco Fajardo and Eduardo Diolio are thrown out on the base paths there. And that'll bring us to the end of 7 innings. Moving quick through this game so far, and that'll take us to break here on Majors TV. You're watching action between the Kitchener Panthers and London Majors on Majors TV, brought to you by by the Factory and the Clubhouse at 100 Kellogs Lane.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's the Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
Welcome to Labatt Park in London, Ontario, the world's oldest baseball grounds. Now through Labor Day, book your guided tour and walk the same field as Ty Cobb, Fergie Jenkins, Honus Wagner, and some of baseball's most legendary players. View artifacts from over the years inside the original 1940 clubhouse. Experience baseball history in London, Ontario. Book your guided tour at labattparktours.ca.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a dive play or a big play.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
And welcome back to what turns out to be a beautiful Sunday afternoon for London Majors baseball as Ricardo Alvarez de Lugo moves from DH out to the pitcher's mound for the for the top of the 8th inning here as he looks to get in some extra work here. The newcomer to the Majors organization coming over from the Brantford Red Sox over in the winter.
We mentioned how impressed we were that he was in the starting lineup, for one thing, because he's definitely a bit more known as a pitcher. Has had 2 seasons with the Brantford Red Sox. Started in more of almost a relief role a bit, but definitely bumped into a consistent starter during last year's campaign with the Red Sox. Ended up playing in 13 games, started 8 of them. Ended up pitching nearly 48 innings, so 47 2/3 altogether. Good strikeout to walk ratio, too, 26 to 19 walks.
And we should mention that he had 3 games last year where he had 1 at bat, walked, and a strikeout in his batting performance in the IBL, and he's already improved on it this year with a hit in this exhibition game here against the Panthers.
Let's keep it nice and even.
A
hit, a strikeout, a walk.
We'll just keep it nice and clean here as he'll take the first pitch here. High and outside to Charlie Towers.
Again, Charlie right now, 2 strikeouts so far in this game, in the first and in the fourth as well, as that pitch goes in there for a strike. Would definitely like to improve. The top 2 in the order so far have accounted for 5 strikeouts in this game. As he swings this one right up Main Street. Right over to short, thrown to first, and in time to get the out. Very impressive play right there. That quick throw to first, keeping us on our toes.
And that line here that was just set up in the booth. That is why he was signed into the major leagues and is now with us at London Majors. And I think manager Roop Chanerdad is thinking, yep, that's why I brought you in here.
You'll hear it a lot that defense can win you games. And that's definitely one of those examples where that could have very easily been a base runner right there, as this one swung deep to center field there.
But the speed of Toby Simmons catches up there on that one. We've seen 2 great plays here.
Indeed. And again, it definitely looked a little deceiving up here in the booth. It was swung on and hit pretty hard. And it's a tough day. That wind pulling in from around right center-ish towards us in the booth, just behind home plate. So it's definitely going to prevent a few home runs here today.
Exactly. And when you have the speed of Toby Simmons out there as well to track that ball down, that ball wasn't, those steps were about 4 steps instead of 9 steps for you and I. It moved things very quick for Toby Simmons and kept DeLugo in this game at about 4 pitches, as that one's in there for strike 1 and a 1-1 count.
And a couple timely plays today. We were just talking about how important defense is when a great defensive play just happens in center field.
As that one is chopped to Jagan Chanerdad over to Brad Verhoeven, and that's the inning. I think we had about 6 pitches that inning, Justin, and I'll take that, especially on a colder day. Maybe a nicer day. I'd like to stretch the game out, but on a day like today, we'll get through this game very nice and quickly with that. As Skylar Janice starts to warm up in the bullpen for the Majors. He pitched there on Friday afternoon, signed a lot of autographs being down in the bullpen. He was all over signing for the kids. Lots of photos that I made sure that I grabbed in that game of him signing autographs, and can't go wrong with that when the kids are getting pop bottles, and they were getting Gatorade bottles, and I think I saw a few arms being signed on Friday.
I had the chance to be right in the dugout beside a couple of the schools that were in attendance that day, and yeah, one of the students had their arm completely covered in autographs from the London Majors, and they were very proud of their quote-unquote tattoos that they were able to collect during the game.
I wonder how their parents were. As my son is only 18 months, I don't have to worry about that. I know a couple of the guys have bugged me about signing his diaper let's sign his diaper for you. And but right now it's been quite a good game so far.
That sounds exactly right. That it's a very fun team across the board. Quite a few personalities on this Majors roster. One of them warming up in the bullpen, like we mentioned, Skylar Janice. A whole lot of fun. Definitely a personality of his own. Anytime I'm talking to him, I'm looking at his feet, funny enough. Always has some fun cleats out there.
Well, I think and this is a nickname that I think he was given up in Barrie. He has the banana shoes on today. The bright yellow ones, and that's the only reason why I can tell it's Skylar from here without even looking at the number. The bright yellow shoes here, I saw him have them on Friday, and he's got them here today.
He's got us in the booth in mind, definitely helping us out to identify which one he is in the crowd with those shoes.
As Brad Verhoeven comes to the plate here, he's been involved in this game over at first base multiple times with plays by Francisco Fajardo and Jagan Chanderdat in that last inning, getting the quick outs for DeLugo as he'll look at ball one.
And 1 for 3 so far in this game. A single over in the first.
As that one's golfed into center field there. Easy fly ball for the center fielder.
And another quick out here. This time, the Panthers able to collect that one on the Majors.
As Mosher comes to the plate there.
Mosher walked in his last inning. That was back in the bottom of the 6th. He ended up making his trip all the way over to third, stranded out there in that inning.
As that one is low and outside on Mosher, just across the outside of the plate, but a little low for the umpire's liking. As Mosher swings through that one. He's looking to put some runs on the board here himself if he has to. He does have the power. He shows it off every once in a while, especially in batting practice. As that one comes across for strike 2. A 1-2 count for Mosher. 1 out in the inning. The Majors lead 3-1 as Mosher strikes out.
It's Mosher's 3rd strikeout so far in this game. So definitely a ton of power, like you were mentioning. He's got a lot of rotation in his stance up in the box. And if he does make contact, like we've seen in a lot of batting practices, that thing's out of here. That thing's gone.
As the pitcher of record right now, Ricardo DeLugo comes to the plate. He's got himself an RBI in this game, a hit, and a clean inning with about 6 pitches. And he's still in the game here as exhibition rules. Nothing counts. Nothing matters as long as there's somebody in the box. As he grounds that one up the infield, Charlie Towers with the throw. And Ricardo is safe at first base there as the thick, wet grass ate that one up on Charlie Towers. Wasn't able to charge it like he wanted to, but DeLugo is 2 for 4 with an RBI and a clean inning.
Very impressive doing it on both sides here, pitching and hitting. Incredibly great to see. Great speed as well, underrated for a two-way player like that.
Pitchers are athletes too. I know there's probably a few pitchers that are sitting there saying or enjoying that I'm saying that one. As Adrian Harrison looks at strike 1.
Demonstrating just the sheer athleticism over on first base there.
As Harrison strikes, and that one catches the umpire below the belt on that one, and he'll take a second to breathe that one out as a foul tip by Adrian Harrison.
He's got a smile on his face. Just caught him a little off guard behind the plate there. He's going to take a few steps, clean up home plate.
Ibarra will take the walk out there to the pitcher and give him a little extra break there. You and I definitely know what that one feels like when a foul ball comes in.
It's not good. It's not a fun feeling, to say the least.
As we see there, he's got a smile on his face, so he's laughing it off now, and we'll get back to baseball here with a 2-0 or an 0-2 count. DeLugo on first. Harrison at the plate with 2 out in the inning.
If we thought the majority of the game was quick, this last inning and a half has gone by in a flash.
As that one's ground to Charlie Towers, and he'll take the easy throw over to first base. Harrison out at first. Majors lead 3-1 here. 7 hits, 2 hits for the Panthers as we come down the home stretch here on Majors TV between action of the Panthers and Majors that you're watching here on YouTube, brought to you by the Factory and the Clubhouse on Majors TV.
Hello, my name is Jim Nuther with Nuther's Award Store. Come along with me on a virtual tour to take a look at our amazing products and services that we're able to provide to you to help you with your recreation needs.
Go beyond the scores and get to know the athletes who call the Forest City home.
Joseph crushes one.
Game Day London brings you in-depth stories and conversations about London's major teams and the athletes. Whether it's in the rink with the Knights or on the field with the Majors, Game Day London has you covered from the start. For fresh and engaging sports coverage, visit GameDayLondon.com, a proud sponsor of Majors TV.
If there's guys on base, I'm trying to create the situation in my head. Corey Hunter taught me that. Create it in your mind, where you're throwing the ball, what you're doing in this situation. When it happens, you're just reacting. Defense, you can always make a play. You always have an opportunity. You never know what ball's going to get hit to you. It's always a good feeling when you're running down balls for your pitcher. You look forward to running balls and robbing home runs. Nothing more satisfying than making a diving play or a big play.
And we are back for the 9th inning here, and we are going to play all 9. Top and bottom here, as we saw an exchange there between managers and coaches. Skylar Janice, one of the most friendliest guys you'll meet on this team, on the mound for the Majors, with ball 1 and those bright yellow shoes. Justin?
I love to see him. I love the bright colors. I'm a big sneakerhead in general, so seeing it on the cleats makes me very happy.
I'm not allowed to buy any more sneakers, unfortunately. I own too many. As that one is grounded to Fajardo, over to Brad Verhoeven, and 2 pitches, 1 out.
You know what? These players want to go home. I think that's the message
Apparently.
we're getting. Some very quick outs, very quick innings at the tail end of this game. And, it looks like they all want to go heat up a little bit.
And everybody just says, you know what, I'm just going to hit it to Fajardo, and he'll deal with it from there.
And so, again, this is Skylar Janice on the mound. This is his 3rd year with the Majors. And relatively local, from Maidstone, Ontario. And for those wondering, I collected some stats on those from Ontario playing with the Majors. About 60% of this team is from Ontario for about 17 of the 28 people on the roster right now.
And we'll see a few from British Columbia. We'll see Ryan Bytel, and we will see Trent Lehan. I believe I'm saying that right. We haven't met him yet, so we're pronouncing it the best we can until we meet him. But they're both from UBC. They're playing in the Canadian College Championship right now.
And for this game, this is a little bit of a return for Janice. He pitched his first year in the IBL with the Kitchener Panthers. He ended up playing in 1 game. He started 1 game, pitched 5 innings, got 7 strikeouts. So a little bit of a return to form here against the Panthers, but he's played the rest of his career with the Majors.
As we look at some action of players that are coming to the Majors here over in the Conference Championship for UBC. Trent Lehan played for UBC this yesterday. 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs.
That one swung on and hit shallow right center there.
Harrison called off Chanderdat, and we are 2 out already. And we look at the box score from yesterday, a little colder day for UBC out there. As Lehan went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And we have not seen Ryan Bytel yet, but I expect we see him probably today for UBC. Another great arm that's coming to the majors. This team will be very talented this year. It's just a matter of teams sliding into their positions. It's Janice with that one, a swing and a miss for strike one.
And yeah, plenty of fresh faces on this roster this year. There's 11 first-time majors and 7 first-time in the IBL players with this team as well. So you're going to get some new fan favorites this year for sure.
And we will say that Caden Cardoso is with the Ottawa Titans, the former Rookie of the Year from last year. He's with the Titans. So that's what happens. Is a lot of great players come to this league, but they move up. They move into bigger situations, they move into better situations, or they move into life, dad life sometimes.
He'll definitely be missed. That power, like you mentioned, Rookie of the Year last season.
Another BC native we should mention, as Janice has a 2-1 count here, and we, like I mentioned, we are playing all 9 innings here, including the bottom, as you see our Dominican boys in their nice warm hoodies.
1 strike away from the win for the majors here, even if the game doesn't wrap up for the bottom of the 9th.
And that is ball 2 for Janice, looking to get out of the inning here.
And so in the regular season last year, Janice ended up playing in 14 games, all in a relief position, ended up having 23 strikeouts in just over 19 innings of work.
Ground out to Mosher. Mosher across the diamond to Verhoeven. An unfortunate bobble of the ball there will get him to first base.
Looks like that one just pulled him off the base a little bit in the direction, not able to scoop it up too cleanly. The Kitchener Panthers still have a little bit of life here with a man on first.
And that'll bring the tying run to the plate here. Skylar Janice looking to get out of the inning here with a runner on first and leave him stranded there. Janice, a type of player that, you know what, my infield had a blip. Let me do it myself here if I have to. He's a guy that, you know, will definitely make sure he comes over and says hi to you, ask you how you're doing, and then say, hey, we got a ball game to win today. Let's go do it. Especially with myself being down on the field, that he's one of the guys that makes sure he says hi to you all the time.
Baseball's always on the mind, too.
Always on the mind for Skylar.
So again, this is Arthur Kawara at the plate. 1 for 2 on the day so far. Ended up coming around for the 1 run that the Kitchener Panthers have scored. That was back in the top of the 3rd he came around. His next at-bat had a little soft grounder to the pitcher in the top of the 6th. Would like to come in clutch right here for the Kitchener Panthers.
As he hits that one off Diolio, then himself. Foul ball, still 0-2, 2 out, 1 runner on. Looking to at least keep this inning going for the Panthers.
And again, very similar to the rest of it, it's very quickly to an 0-2 count here as well. These later innings have absolutely flown by in today's contest.
Off on the pitch, and there is strike 3 for Janice. And yes, we're looking for answers here. We were told that we were going to play the bottom, but and here come the Panthers for the bottom of the 9th inning. As the fans not 100% sure on what's going on, but we see all the players coming out for the bottom of the 9th inning. Majors will have some extra bats here. You always want to get these extra bats in during the preseason. Get as many swings as you can, especially when it's a little, it might be cold, but it's not raining. Let's keep the gas going.
And again, for those who have maybe joined the broadcast a little bit later, this is an exhibition game. This is preseason, so there have been a lot of moves back and forth, both in the field, both in the lineup. And with it being a preseason game, we will go the full 9 innings. The Majors have technically won at this point. They can't lose runs on the board. But because it is preseason, the teams do not want to lose out on at-bats either way. It is incredibly valuable to get these live ABs against opposing teams right here to test out your pitchers, test out your batters against an opposing team. So they don't want to lose out on that valuable experience, so we are going to play the bottom of the 9th.
As the Majors will take on the Hamilton Cardinals on Tuesday, actually, as they'll head to Hamilton for that game. It is the Hamilton Cardinals school day game.
And an early rematch for them as well after getting blown out a bit on Friday, 13-2 here at Labatt Memorial Park by the Majors. It might give them a little bit of redemption if they can, a little revenge story before the season even gets going. And the Majors would really like to make a statement against them on Tuesday.
I think if you can come out of 2 school day games with 2 wins against what a lot of people are saying is going to be a very strong Hamilton Cardinals team, I think if you're if they're going to do well, I think getting a few wins over them to start the season is what's going to be beneficial. As I believe that's Danny Garcia on the mound for the Kitchener Panthers. Another one we don't have the number for, but based on my experience here in the league, that looks like Garcia on the mound. As he will face Charlie Bowman with those bright fluorescent gloves. We were talking about shoes. How about some bright fluorescent gloves, batting gloves, as he lines out to the left fielder. Quick 1 up, 1 down.
And again, big shout out to everyone watching us live on YouTube, on Majors TV. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Great to have you.
If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We always want to see everybody here following Majors on YouTube, but don't forget Instagram. Are we calling it X still? Is it Twitter?
I still call it Twitter.
I still call it Twitter, but it's got the X in the logo. We just call it Twitter. Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. We're going to have a few more TikToks this year, get a few more videos. We got a lot of video crew this year. We're going to have a lot of good content coming your way this year. As Jagan Chanderdat looks at ball 2, a 2-2 count, 1 out here. Toby Simmons on deck, looking to get, I believe, his 5th plate appearance in the game here. As Chanderdat looks at strike 3, bringing Simmons to the plate with 2 out here in the inning, and Danny Garcia on the mound for the Panthers.
And again, Simmons was the one who got the scoring going early for the Majors. He was the first run in the bottom of the 1st. Got on base by a walk and just ran away with it from there, coming around. Made some good plays out in the field. He's been playing center field for a majority of the game. And very quick as well, to say the least, on the base paths.
I think fans are going to get tired of us by the end of the season saying that. The amount of times we've said how quick he is, but he definitely proves that he is the quickest one on the team. If not, Fajardo is right there with him.
And gets to a 2-0 count here in the bottom of the 9th.
2-1.
Majors have been pretty well more dominant throughout the course of this game. It's been very tight. It's felt like a pretty close game, and the score generally reflects that. But the Majors have out-hit them 7-2 on the game, each team collecting an error so far. That one swung on. A little bit late on it, though. That'll become a souvenir down the third base side over in the stands. Even count 2-2 here in the bottom of the 9th. Slow off-speed pitch just outside the zone there. Bringing it to a full count here with 2 outs.
Grounder up the second base, and Simmons beats it out. The speed there by Simmons shown off. A little flip play by the second baseman, and he beats it out cleanly, bringing Fajardo to the plate here, looking to add on to the Majors' runs.
So that officially is Simmons' 4th time on base in this contest. A great way to get the preseason rolling. Only ended up flying out once. That was back in the 3rd inning. Besides that, he was the first run. He's been able to touch 3rd back in the 5th and in the 7th as well.
As Fajardo hits that one off his foot. Foul ball. 1-0 count. 2 out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Your Majors leading 3-1. 8 hits combined for the Majors, 2 for the Panthers. An error aside per, as that one is hit hard to Charlie Towers at shortstop, but thrown off the back foot. Fajardo beats it out as he is pulled off first base there, and runners at first and second with Eduardo Diolio coming to the plate with runners on.
Majors would like to go out with a show in this one. 2 outs, 2 men on, 1 in scoring, and Diolio up to the plate, looking to tack on some runs just to pad things out here in this second exhibition game for the team.
And like we mentioned just a few moments ago, this will not be the Majors' last exhibition. The last home exhibition, though, before things are kicked off in Brantford. A Tuesday morning-ish game, we'll call it, late morning in Hamilton for their school day game. And then it's off to Brantford on May 11th for the season opener. First time we've started in Brantford in a while. Last few years, the team has started in Toronto. This year, a little change, starting off in Brantford for the season opener. And then right back here for the Guelph Royals on May 16th.
It's an exciting time of year. Gotta love that baseball is actively back in action across the board.
Diolio with a deep drive to center field. Center fielder on the run. Caught there by Wander Santana. And that's the 3rd out, but Majors win. A great win for the Majors there. 2-0 on the exhibition series.
An impressive showing, plenty of action on both ends. Great pitching matchups here. Majors great on offense, great defense, great speed on the base paths. A really good showing from what are a lot of depth options on this team. We didn't get to see a lot of the regular starting lineup for the Majors, or at least anticipated starting lineup for the Majors heading into the regular season, but it was still an impressive matchup and shows just how deep this team is here in 2025.
And that will be all for us here with London Majors TV. That's it. We're off. The next time we're here, it's for real. We got the London Majors versus Guelph Royals here on May 16th to kick off the home opener. If you don't have your tickets, get them. It is going to be a great game versus the Royals. And that'll do it for Justin Koheler in the booth, myself, Matt Hiscox, all of us here on Majors TV, all of our dedicated volunteers. We thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you back here at Labatt Memorial Park very soon. Thank you for watching this broadcast brought to you by 100 Kellogs Lane, that has the factory and the clubhouse partnered with us, and we wish you an incredible afternoon.